as the wind is gusting to over 20 miles an hour, and so that could be a factor, especially for both offenses as we get set to go. Justin Fuente, just 40 years old, his first trip to South Bend, and that's the case for a lot of these Virginia Tech Hokie players. In fact, almost all of them in this very first meeting between Virginia Tech and Notre Dame. The Hokies won the toss and have deferred, so Notre Dame will get its hands on the ball first. C.J. Sanders back deep. He took the opening kickoff in the game against Army last week, the distance for the score, and this time Sanders is corralled in a hurry just across the 20-yard line. As we meet the Notre Dame offense, again, Torrey Hunter is out, so Kevin Stefferson, who filled in nicely, will get the start again. And up front, fifth-year grad Mark Harrell gets just the first and second starts of his career, including this one in the last 2 weeks, and this his final home game at Notre Dame Stadium. So out comes DeShone Kizer, and a lot of speculation. Will this be the final home game for DeShone Kizer? Highly thought of by NFL scouts, but first and foremost, taking care of business today, and more movement up there. And was that Harrell who jumped across the right guard?
Ball start. Offense. Number 75. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So just when we mention his name and what the last couple of weeks have meant, he jumps off.
A little fired up. His first home start. Senior day, having the opportunity. Just jumping the gun a little bit. Little antsy.
So first and 15 now for Kizer. Set back at the 17. He's got plenty of time. Going downfield and wide open for a first down. It's caught by Equanimous St. Brown. So a big gain by the sophomore from Anaheim, California, of 31 on the very first play.
St. Brown running a deep crosser and all kinds of time. Kizer hung in there very patiently with a guy in his face, waited for him to break open across the field, delivers a strike.
Brian Kelly coming out of the field there momentarily to deliver a message here before the second play, and the fake, and Kizer around the right edge, close to another first down, a gain of 9, second down and 1 as Chuck Clark, the free safety for the Hokies, brought him down. But another big run, an example of Kaiser's mobility.
We talked about it in the opening. Both these quarterbacks can run the football. This is a great start for this Notre Dame offense, getting him involved.
Down to the Virginia Tech 45, second and 1. Kizer picks up the first down. It's complete to Josh Adams, who's streaking up the sideline for another big game. So a great start to this opening drive for Kizer and the Irish. A gain of 22 there.
A lot of man-to-man coverage in the secondary, and they turn Josh Adams free in the flat. The very first completion was against man-to-man with no free safety help. Bud Foster will play that man coverage, and the play action will give the secondary trouble because they like to support the run.
Yeah, this isn't just a great start against any defense. This time, Josh Adams has spun around. This is a team that in the last 20 years, no FBS team has more sacks or interceptions or lower third down percentage than the Virginia Tech defense. As Justin Fuente looks on, the team just so skilled through the years, a great tradition of defense down in Blacksburg. But Notre Dame is running up the field on this opening drive right now. Gain of 1 there, so second and 9 from the Hokie 22. And Kizer complete to C.J. Sanders, and he might have lost a yard as Ricky Walker came up to quickly bring Sanders down, who we mentioned had the huge kickoff return for the opening play last week against Army. It was 4th return of his career that he's brought back. Now 3 kickoff returns, 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns this season, and another punt return for a touchdown as well. So on the first big test of this drive, 3rd and 10, Kaiser has time, surveys, and picks up the first down. And it's Sanders diving to the goal line. The ball gets loose, and it's recovered by St. Brown in the end zone. And they're going to mark him down at the 1-yard line. Spotted at the 1 for a gain of 21. And there's the body down before he had a chance to. And I know that's one of your pet peeves, Doug. You hate to see the guy stretch out like that sometimes. So from 1 yard out, Josh Adams takes it in. And it's an impressive opening drive for the Irish, who take it right down the field for a quick score.
The impressive part on the pass completions was Kaiser's patience in the pocket, pass protection, allowing him to decipher what's going on as matchups happen in the secondary, and finding, receivers running scot-free.
So it started off with Harrell jumping off sides. After that, it got most improved, huh?
Let's back it up and go 1st and 15 just to start out, and we'll have some fun.
Justin Yoon on for the extra point. And just a couple of minutes in, it's Notre Dame 7, Virginia Tech nothing, as Josh Adams scores his 4th rushing touchdown of the season. And by State Farm, here to help life go right. Look at some of the seniors on this Notre Dame roster before and now. Malik Zaire. And the last guy you saw come out to be honored on senior day was Mike McGlinchey, and he and that Irish front line just took it right down the field. Isaac Rochelle playing his final game at Notre Dame Stadium, as is James Onwalu, part of that defense, as this ball is just booted down the middle here. And Virginia Tech is going to have excellent field position as we take a look at this last drive, Doug. Some of the highlights.
Well, just great patience in the pocket, waiting for a deep crosser to come open. St. Brown works his way across the field. That was straight man-to-man coverage. Look at the pass protection. But guys are getting turned free in the secondary. There's Josh Adams going to the flat, uncovered. And then Deshaun Kaiser does a great job of letting everything kind of find its way and decipher it. C.J. Sanders over the middle, down to the goal line, and in with Josh Adams. Like you said, I'm not crazy guys reaching out at that goal line for the ball. You protect it for 99 yards, protect it for that last 6 inches.
Excellent opening drive after the false start by Harrell. Just a little over 3 minutes to get on the board, but the Hokies starting off at their own 44 with excellent field position here. And our first look at Gerard Evans, the big quarterback, in his first play is complete out of the backfield to Sam Rogers. As we take a look at the Hokie offense, Evans has got some weapons to go to. Isaiah Ford is the leading receiver. He could rewrite all the Hokie receiving records by the time he's thrown up front. 140 combined starts from these 45 from the senior Jonathan McLaughlin in his career. So that was a gain of 14 on the first play. You'll see a lot of this, and that is Evans on a designed run.
Boy, he's a strong runner. He's behind Rodgers there, and a lot of times it's a lead blocker, and he's running like a tailback, lowering that shoulder and running with the football.
Evans, the leading rusher on this team, more than 600 yards on the ground coming in. And as we mentioned, he's set to rewrite all the passing records as well, and that is an uncharacteristic drop there by Ford. It was a little high, but usually Ford's able to come up with those. Yeah. Look at the 24 touchdown passes this season, the most in school history, and he's got a chance to get to 30 touchdowns either through on the ground or through the air, and that would tie the all-time school mark. So Evans has a lot of those marks in sight, but now he's got 3rd and 6 from the Irish 39, and he's got some pressure here as that was Onwalu who cuts the ball loose. Notre Dame looks like they're going to recover it, and they do. So a big play by Onwalu, who burst through to separate the ball from Evans.
Evans is struggling with his ball handling. He bobbled the first snap. He threw a poor ball that kind of slipped out of his hands on the slant, and there the ball slipping out of his hand as he's trying to throw. I mean, it just comes out on its own before the hit. He's really struggling. And it's cold out, it's windy out, and the grip on the ball gets tough in these conditions.
Jerron Jones was the Notre Dame player who recovered it as Onwallo went through there. And so Evans and that Virginia Tech offense had 4 turnovers in the loss to Georgia Tech last week. They had 2 fumbles, 2 interceptions. Evans has thrown just 4 all year. 2 of those came last week, and right back with the turnover bug here.
In their 3 losses, they've turned the ball over combined 11 times in those 3 losses. In their 7 wins, only 7 combined turnovers. So that is the factor that causes them to lose football games.
Josh Adams gets the call as Notre Dame has excellent field position here. And the standout player on the Hokie defense is Woody Barron, the best on the defense for Virginia Tech. Tremaine Edmonds is part of a dynamic Edmonds brothers combo. Terrell is in the secondary, but out again is Greg Stroman, and Adonis Alexander is back in the starting role for him at cornerback as Kaiser is short of the first down. That'll bring up 3rd and a couple. And Tremaine Edmonds was on the stop of the Big Irish quarterback.
Again, a design quarterback run. Both these teams do it. And what it forces the defense to do is get their safeties involved in the run game and gives you matchups on the outside. Both teams do it.
Light snow flurries, overcast skies. The first real taste of winter here at Notre Dame Stadium in the final home game of the year. And the Irish trying to pick up the first down, but Adams is going to be stopped short, and that's going to bring up 4th and short. Andrew Motua-Powaka. Let's get that one out of the way right at the start, Doug. But he's been a really good player for Virginia Tech, the leading tackler. But they're going to go for it here on 4th and 1. And Adams is going to surge ahead to pick it up. So Josh Adams, the leading rusher for the Notre Dame offense this year, as they've gone a little bit to Folston last week, who led the team in rushing, but Adams has gotten stronger and stronger as the weeks have gone on. And there's an example of fighting for every inch, the Kelly mantra the last several weeks, Doug.
Absolutely. Contact was made behind the line of scrimmage, and he drove for the first down.
Kaiser waits and fires and throws an interception. And the Hokies get it right back, as that is Chuck Clark with a pick for Virginia Tech.
What a job by Clark, coming all the way from the middle of the field. I mean, Adams is uncovered.
Defense, number 94, lining up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Irish get a break with the penalty, but Clark came all the way. Look at him lining. He lines up offside. How do you do that? You see the ball, it's 6 to 8 inches, just back up.
Trayvon Hill lines up offsides, and Fuente is furious. That takes away the turnover. And now it is 1st and 5 for Notre Dame instead of the Hokies' ball. So that takes off the interception off the board for Kaiser, and this is Tarian Folston's first carry of the game, short of the first down, brought down by Vinny Mahota.
Mahota chasing from inside out there, but that's a play that Notre Dame has not been running much this year, and it's more like just a quick pitch and get out on the corner, and we saw them practicing that quite a bit.
Saw Hill there, the redshirt freshman from Virginia Beach, Virginia, taking away the turnover. On 2nd and 2, this is Kaiser spinning his way inside the 25 for another Notre Dame first down. Gain of 6 for Kaiser. Darian Green brought him down.
Boy, a great read and a great cut on Mahotu.
So Notre Dame already up 7-0. Fresh set of downs. And Kaiser lowering his shoulder like a fullback.
I'm telling you, there's that edge. There's that edge. It starts with their quarterback. Watch his toughness. This is not a quarterback running the football. This is a tailback, fullback attitude. I'm going to get every inch.
And that's what Kelly told us yesterday. He said we, for the first time all season, took 10 games to get there, but they played with an edge against Army. Army was outmanned, but Kelly was happy with the edge that started with Kaiser, the quarterback. And this is C.J. Sanders for more good yardage. Picks up the first down. Chuck Clark on the tackle. But it's a tough end of the season here for Kelly and the Irish. They've got Virginia Tech today, and then again USC on the road. And Kelly's not talking, he obviously wants to be bowl eligible and win the last 2 games. But he says, what's more important? We play hard. We play with that edge. And I'll be happy about going into next season.
Well, it is definitely carried over from last week.
Has not been a good start for that vaunted Tech defense. They are giving up some big chunks. Kaiser rolling to the left. Stepperson, first and goal, Notre Dame. Stepperson filling in once again for Torrey Hunter, who's out for the 2nd straight game with an injured knee, gain of 11.
Stepperson is the outside receiver. He'll just go and sit. He just sits down and lets everything drop off. Great read by Kaiser. Comes out to him late. First down inside the 5.
Stepperson, part of that new wide receiving core for Notre Dame this year, beginning to find his way down the back half of the season and getting more reps with Hunter out of the lineup. So first and goal from the 2. Kaiser stretching for the goal line. Just short. 2nd and goal inside the 1.
Again, this will be a popular theme with both quarterbacks down in the red zone. You get the extra blocker when the quarterback's a runner. Both quarterbacks are physical runners. It's a great way to block and have a hat on a hat.
Ball is literally on the goal line. Adams trying to get in again. Stop short. 3rd and goal. Tua Pawaka up front there, leading tackler for the Hokies, who was one of 4 Virginia Tech players with 10 tackles last week. They lost the game to Georgia Tech, but 4 players had huge games on the Hokie defense. As you look at Hill over there, remember, he was the guy that was across the line of scrimmage that turned the turnover around as Kaiser loses the handle on it. Barely gets it again, and that'll bring up 4th and goal from back at about the 7-8 yard line.
Just a little bit of a low snap. He should have handled it, and it just slides through his hands. It's the wind, the cold. You've got to be very careful with your ball handling. Secure it first.
So Justin Yoon, after this ball was literally on the goal line, Yoon is going to come out to attempt a field goal of 25 yards. Yoon having an excellent season, very accurate. Now 13 of 16 on the year in field goal attempts. So the Irish don't get a touchdown, but they get a field goal, and they get that turnover erase. They lead at 10-0. Less than 4.5 remaining in the first. This is the first meeting between Virginia Tech and Notre Dame. Kaiser coming off the latest drive, which resulted in a field goal. Notre Dame has not won 2 straight games all season long. They're trying to win 3 straight to get themselves bowl eligible. The big win against Army last week in the latest Shamrock Series game, and then 2 in a row here, Virginia Tech and then USC on the road. That is John Cherison to kick off for Notre Dame, as the ball not able to stay on there with that wind. He has filled in for Yoon on kickoffs previous to this game this season, when Yoon had a bit of a tendonitis in his leg.
Kicking into the wind on the kickoff. They tried to squib the first one and ended up very short.
Yeah, it was a very short kick. And this one taken at the 10-yard line. And across the 30, so it's a good return for the Hokies, as Henry Murphy brings it back. Again, they're without Stroman, their normal kickoff return man.
Coming off the edge, James Hanwala.
Playing football at the University of Notre Dame, it's an honor.
Rochelle, the senior captain, made the tackle.
it's been a lifelong dream of mine to play here.
We always find our way back home.
Lots of emotions swirling around the seniors here, along with the flurries of snow on Waller, McGlinchey. All of them want to go on a winning note in their final game at Notre Dame Stadium. Virginia Tech with more good field position here. They've started across their 40 in each of their first two series. This is Trayvon McMillan, the 1,000-yard rusher from last year, who's got more than 500 yards this year, brought down by Niles Morgan. So McMillan, a big component, especially with the weather, Doug, that the Notre Dame defensive coaches thought, hey, bring it on, because that helps us.
The real scary part of the offense are the one-on-one matchups outside, because you're playing so much safety help on the quarterback run game.
And Evans is dropped by McMillan, and Evans is able to get back on it at the 40-yard line. So more ball exchange problems by the Hokies.
And it is the cold weather. I saw the Pittsburgh game where Evans had a little trouble with a couple ball handling issues in wind and cold. And again, he struggled a little bit with the cold hands and the wind blowing, and these are very delicate. You're pulling in, taking out. McMillan's trying to grab it. He's trying to pull the ball out.
This game a little reminiscent of the start that Virginia Tech had against Georgia Tech last week, when they could have clinched the Coastal Division title. They fumbled the opening kickoff. They got down 20-0 and just never recovered. Third and 11. It's a high snap. Evans is able to haul it in and then just throw it away.
As you were saying a week ago, those turnovers and miscues were not really forced. Sometimes you're getting beat and turnovers happen because you've got guys in your face, things are happening. These are things like a high snap and a drop snap and a bobbled handoff that's on Virginia Tech. That's just execution.
Yeah, that's on Eric Gallo, the center there. You see there, high snap. Evans had no shot at hauling it in. So this is Mitchell Ludwig to punt away for Virginia Tech, and just pounded there just short of the 20-yard line. I believe it was Chris Fink who took a shot, but Notre Dame takes over again, already up 10-0. /live. So as the Irish get ready for another series here, the longtime defensive coordinator Bud Foster, not a happy man right now. In his 30th season at Virginia Tech, his 22nd as defensive coordinator. The Irish have been moving the ball on his Hokie defense. And Tarian Folston here with a carry. He gets loose. Another first down for Tarian Folston, and he goes across the 40 before Mook Reynolds brings him to a stop after a gain of 21.
The Virginia Tech defense loses contain, gets to the outside. Look at 14, Kaiser getting out in front and throwing a block for him downfield. Great jump cut and bounce outside.
Folston again, this time no gain, second down and 10. Foster's such a big part of the storyline, you know, even as the season began. Frank Beamer, of course, here 29 years as the head coach for Virginia Tech, and it was a job that many thought he might get. In fact, he did throw his name into the hat. It ended up to be Justin Fuente, after the Virginia Tech athletic director said he wanted more of an offensive-oriented coach, so with the job going to Justin Fuente. And then he had a meeting with Fuente, and he had some other offers to go elsewhere, but Foster ends up staying at Virginia Tech because he said he hit it off immediately with Fuente. And so he remains down in Blacksburg as the defensive coordinator. On 2nd and 10, a flag comes in as Woody Barron came
Ball
across.
Start. Offense, number 53, 5-yard penalty, second down.
But he was drawn off by Sam Mustapher, the center. So the second false start for that Irish offensive line puts him back in a 2nd and 15 situation. But Kaiser trying to take care of that incomplete off the hands of Nick Wisher, as Kaiser's been going to his tight ends a little bit more and more. You mentioned that Foster's been at Virginia Tech for 30 seasons. I mean, this is incredible. Started his tenure down at Blacksburg as the inside linebacker coach, became the coordinator in '95, and has remained in that role. In fact, he's the nation's longest tenured defensive coordinator, now in his 22nd season. And his Hokies trying to bear down in a 3rd and 15 situation. Kaiser gets the first down to Chase Claypool. That good for a gain of 19.
Boy, Claypool goes up and runs a corner route, but totally uncovered. No one's covering him. And then all of a sudden, Alexander feels that, peels off, and finds a great job of concentrating, holding on to the ball. Well delivered. It's windy down there, so these strikes, they're tough throws.
It's a bring your lunch pail bucket type of day.
There's a little lunch pail bucket here with the shoulder from Kaiser again.
Kaiser with another physical run, bringing that edge to the Notre Dame offense. Terrell Edmonds, one of the Edmonds brothers, running him out of bounds. But look at this physical run by Kaiser.
He's got a little attitude today, doesn't he? Bringing it, lowering the shoulder every time. I mean, when it's a short yardage situation, when you're fighting for a first down, I've seen it. We're seeing it on every run out of Kaiser.
We're seeing that fire from the Notre Dame offense for sure. 2nd down and 1 after the big gain by Kaiser, and it's Tariq Folston who picks up the first down.
Tell you what, he was met by Chuck Clark, and he's a heck of a hitter out of the secondary. He's a very short tackler, and they didn't go forward on that one. Bend them backwards.
Final seconds ticking down here of the first quarter. That stoic look on the face of Fuente as he has seen his team sputter in the first quarter here, but trying to pump them up now. They fell 20-0 behind Georgia Tech last week at home. It was their only loss of the season thus far. And he wants to make sure it doesn't get any more out of hand. End of the first quarter here at Notre Dame Stadium with a score Irish 10, Hokies nothing. We'll return to the stadium after these messages from your local NBC station. You're watching Notre Dame football on NBC. Overcast skies with a golden dome in the background, and Notre Dame up 10-0 on Senior Day. Final home game here of the season. Irish on the road Thanksgiving weekend next week at USC. Snow continues to fall, and Kaiser looking to keep this drive alive here at the 31. 1st and 10. And going to the air and straight down the middle to Fink, and he's able to make the catch for the touchdown. Chris Fink with the first touchdown of his career, and he is swarmed by his Notre Dame teammates. Former walk-on with his first score, good for 31.
Fink on a post route against Mook Reynolds. He beats him to the inside. It was great patience by Kaiser, allowing Claypool to clear the safety out of the way, so it was one-on-one for Fink. And he threw the ball. I mean, it was a perfect strike, throwing for the first time with the wind at his back.
Great moment for Fink. They're still all over him on the sideline as June comes in to make it a 17-0 Irish lead. Fink, who walked on, got the scholarship, had a catch last week against Army, but never before had he had one for a score. Chris Fink and the Irish up big. Army in San Antonio, Shamrock Series. Irish quarterback Sean Kaiser dazzled in the air on the ground. He was 17 for 28. 3 more touchdown passes on the day. Ran for 72 on 7 carries. And his performance helped lead the Irish to the convincing 44-6 win over the Black Knights in their 8th straight triumph in the Shamrock Series. That was Top Performances, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. And Kaiser is having himself a day today as well. 7 of 8, 134 yards, his 23rd touchdown pass of the season, coming to Fink on the earlier drive as Notre Dame is just crushing the Hokie defense. They came into the second quarter, Doug, in total yards 173-4 for Virginia Tech. They've just outclassed them so far.
And they're making it look easy. A lot of what Virginia Tech does in the secondary, the safeties don't get depth. They're kind of shallow, help them with runs, so play action affects them. Plus, they double receivers. So it leaves some one-on-one matchups with no help at all down the field. And Kaiser is he's deciphering that and hitting big plays down the field.
So John Cherison to kick off. And this is Henry Murphy, who had the good kickoff return on the previous try. And he comes across the 30 with another good one, close to the 40-yard line. So Virginia Tech has had great field possession. And Gerard Evans, in contrast to Kaiser, has really been struggling, Doug.
You know, he's just trying to throw a slant route here. And like I said, the ball's, when it's cold, the ball gets cold and slick. He fumbles it on his own there as Onwalu was chasing him. And then a snap over his head. That's not his fault, but he's struggling with it. Does a good job of just throwing that away. But I believe his grip on the football right now is shaky, and he doesn't feel comfortable letting it rip.
And again, this has been a Hokie offense, which has been one of the best in a long time in Blacksburg, but the last couple of games they've really been off, and that has continued here in South Bend as Isaiah Ford gets his first catch, good for 5.
And as I said, a lot of those mistakes that they're making are on them, not caused by the defense.
So on second down, up the middle for first down yardage is Stephen Peoples. As we take a look at the Notre Dame defense, this is the final home game for Isaac Rochelle, who leads that defensive line in stops. It's also the final home game for James Onwalu at linebacker, who started every game this year. It's Peoples again for another pretty good gain as the Hokies try to get some sort of consistency going on this drive. Again, good field position, but too many mistakes.
Yeah, they've had great field position, did nothing with it. Here, at least the first completion, a couple of good run plays inside. Get your feet under you now offensively and start to feel a little confident about what you're doing offensively.
Gerard Evans, the first junior college transfer to ever start at quarterback for Virginia Tech.
Timeout. Notre Dame.
As Notre Dame takes a timeout on the 2nd and 7 play. Just into the second quarter, Notre Dame up big on Justin Fuente's Hokies. South Bend Chocolate Company has been making Notre Dame inspired treats for more than 25 years. Their latest creation had a special ingredient. Chocolates dusted with real 24-karat gold. They were delivered to the shop in that armored truck you saw. So as you look at the gold leaf on the Golden Dome here on the campus of Notre Dame Stadium, gold definitely the theme. Gold helmets for Notre Dame, and looking good today, up big 17-0 as Virginia Tech begins this drive with Marshawn Williams getting his first carry of the game.
Just north-south. Williams is a strong runner. McMillan is more explosive. Rogers is strong in there. Virginia Tech needs to develop the running game early in this game.
They fake it to Ford, and Evans using that big body, 6'3", 238 pounds, trying to pick up the first down. And they're going to give it to him.
That's another popular theme with the Virginia Tech running game. This offensive line loves to get involved towards the end of runs and get the big push. Watch just at the end as he gets stood up, picks up the first down. Little tight quarters. Here comes offensive linemen to help push the pile. They've been doing this all year long and getting a lot of extra yards at them.
Well, we talked with the defensive coaches for Notre Dame yesterday, and they called Gerard Evans a game wrecker. That's the kind of respect they have for him. As the give is to Marshawn Williams again on the 1st and 10 play. But big respect for not only on the ground, Doug, he's got a big arm, but he does have some development still left as a quarterback, a little unpolished still.
Very true. Reads coming off a receiver to a secondary receiver, things like that. But he's got so many good one-on-one matchups. A lot of times he can just put it up to that first read.
And he puts it out there at the 30-yard line, and it's the 6'7" Bucky Hodges, former tight end, although he does.
I don't know if he ever really played tight end, did he?
He's a wide receiver in everybody's book now. He splits out there. He used to play tight end, but now pretty much solely splitting out wide, and he is a game wrecker in his own right, as this give is to Stephen Peoples. But Bucky Hodges, you know, if you're an NFL scout, Doug, this is just money, isn't it? 6'7", 245 pounds. And we've seen him make catches behind his
just reaching
shoulder.
Back on a line drive, reach back, catch it with one hand, tip it to himself in a crowd. Not afraid to go up and get it and take it away from smaller DBs. He's a weapon.
And this is a weapon. The game wrecker, Evans on the move to the end zone for the touchdown. So Gerard Evans rolls 23 yards to put the Hokies on the board.
Little zone read, reads it well. Isaac Rochelle actually closed down. He reads that, pulls it, takes off, and he's going to lower his shoulder, get in the end zone. Actually, I'm used to seeing him have to run over 3 or 4 to get in. There was pretty clean for him the whole way. Great read on the zone read. Point.
That is his 29th touchdown, either through the air or on the ground. And so he's closing in on another all-time school mark as Joey Sly adds the extra point for Virginia Tech. And it is suddenly a ball game again, thanks to Gerard Evans, who had the sluggish start in the first quarter, but he's got Virginia Tech on the board for the first time. College would give him the chance. He went to Air Force, but he tore his ACL, so he ended up transferring to Trinity Valley Community College in Athens, Texas, where he was the conference MVP. Got more recruiters on his trail. As he went to Virginia Tech, he had to win the battle there and did. And as we mentioned, is the first JUCO transfer to ever start at Virginia Tech. And in the process, has a chance here to set a lot of records in his very first season at the helm of the Hokie offense. And his big 23-yard run has gotten Virginia Tech within 10 as Joey Sly kicks off into that wind. And C.J. Sanders feels it at about the 12. And C.J.'s brought down to the 25-yard line. Return of 13 as we bring in Catherine Tappan.
Well, Dan, at a very young age, Gerard Evans' father, Ephraim, told him to write down his goals and prioritize them as short, medium, and long term. Gerard said that his father knows who he is as a person, and if he didn't write them down, he just wouldn't accomplish them. Well, in late August, he achieved one of his goals when he was named the starting quarterback at Virginia Tech. So I asked him to give us some insight on what some of his long-term goals entail, and he politely said, I don't think now is the appropriate time for that. I'm just focused on beating Notre Dame on Saturday, and so far he just got his team a little bit closer to doing that, Dan.
Yeah, I think the long-term goal playing on Sundays, and I would think he's definitely got a chance at checking that one off as well. There was a holding penalty on Notre Dame, so it's brought it back to the 13-yard line here rather than the 8-yard line here. So good field position for this drive for the Irish.
What an important drive for Virginia Tech. Down 17-0, finally put something together, get down in the end zone, and now relying on their defense to get it back. You can feel a little momentum swing. So now, again, it's important for Notre Dame. At least one first down coming out of your own end.
Kaiser nowhere to go. That was a designed run all the way, and the Hokie defense, led by Cannon, Trayvon Hill, drops him for a 4-yard loss.
Canham closes it down from the backside, but the reason this happens is 9 guys are committed on defense to stopping the run. They had one-on-one matchups on the outside, and just everybody was in the box there to protect against the quarterback run.
So suddenly Notre Dame backed up with a 3rd and long. Kaiser in trouble in his own end zone. Avoids the safety and then cannot complete the hookup to Stefferson. So that's going to bring a 4th down, and the Hokies with a chance to get excellent field position again. And the momentum fully in their direction right now.
Had a chance to make a play. Kaiser keeps it alive. He feels the rush. Almost taken down for the safety, but he steps up through and finds a wide open receiver. If Stefferson had settled down, it might have made it an easier throw. He's throwing back across his body, but it's a big stop for Virginia Tech. Going to get great field position.
C.J. Carroll, who's wearing the number 25 jersey in honor of Frank Beamer. Beamer, the former coach, wore number 25 in his days at Virginia Tech. Justin Fuente instilling that tradition in honor of the former coach. And Carroll is driven back as Tyler Newsome hits a good angle there. And Carroll was off to this side of the field and watched it roll for a 64-yard punt by Newsome, which flips the field for Notre Dame. Jesse Bon Jovi. Yes, a very familiar name. Getting an embrace from his mom and dad. And Catherine Tappan talked with a rock star father before kickoff.
John, your son Jesse's being honored today for Senior Day. How proud are you of what he's achieved both on and off the field here at Notre Dame?
His mom and I are just so proud of him. This was his dream school. He worked very hard academically to get here, and then to have the ability to just be a walk-on and tough it out for 4 years. Whenever we saw him take the field, we were crying tears of joy. It's been great.
Well, we've seen you on the sidelines, both at home and away games, you and your wife, Dorothea. What has this university meant to your family?
You know, it really has shaped him. You heard the mythology, and it's bigger than that when you're here. And I really think this is something that he'll carry with him wherever he goes for as long as he lives. And I'd always heard the story of the magical ring. And I told him that after 4 years, we'll see if it shines. It really, really does.
As the Virginia Tech Hokies begin this drive with a run from Evans, and there's the proud father up and safely out of the elements, I might add, Doug, but a good story there. As Jesse's gotten a little bit of playing time, but mostly, on the sidelines cheering on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. This is Sam Rogers with the call, Tavon Coney with his stop. And I know you've known the Bon Jovis for a long time. It means a lot to Dad.
Oh, it really does. He's a proud dad, no doubt about it. You don't just walk on and hang out with the football team for 4 years. He's done a lot of work on scout team. He's gotten in on kickoff. He went through a knee injury and rehabbed that. He's worked his tail out.
He's all in. 3rd and 5 now for Virginia Tech. Movement up front, and a flag comes in. A lengthy discussion here between the officiating crew.
Both sides were pointing fingers. Notre Dame did jump across, but there was movement on the Virginia Tech side. So what happened first?
False start. Offense. Number 57. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
So it goes against the Hokies, and Wyatt Teller, and Fuente is fuming. Teller's that left guard.
Yeah, normally that's a reaction to Notre Dame coming across, and maybe that should have gone the other way. He has it right. Justin has it right.
Fuente's livid. We've got another flag, and that might be on the head coach.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the head coach.
It is.
Virginia Tech. 15-yard penalty. 3rd down.
You have a right to be upset, but negotiate with the referee. Watch your language and negotiate.
I don't think there's much negotiating going on between Fuente and the Zebras right now.
He's hot. And I believe he's correct with the initial call. But don't compound it.
But he hurts his team even more, and they're now in a 3rd and 24 position all the way back to their own 16. And Evans begins trying to get out of this hole with Sam Rogers, and that'll bring up 4th and long and the Hokie punting unit.
What a momentum breaker, though. The Hokies gaining field position, coming off a score, getting the ball back, 3rd and manageable. Okay, it pushes back 5 yards. Now it's going to be a 3rd and long, and then it becomes a 3rd and ridiculous, and you're punting the ball away.
There's Fink standing back.
Into the wind.
Into the wind. It's not a good punt, but it does take a Virginia Tech bounce, and it goes all the way down to the 40-yard line. So that is where Notre Dame will begin. But you talk about hot on a snowy day at Notre Dame Stadium. Justin Fuente, red hot. Flexibility, Doug. The 43rd Bayou Classic next Saturday at 5 Eastern Time on NBCSN.
I need 3 people to get me off the ground once if I tried to go that way.
Well, Fuente, well into our break, was still hot on the sidelines, and Notre Dame beginning at its own 40 here. 8 minutes left in the opening half. The Hokie defense had Kaiser on the run there, but he's able to get rid of it. 2nd down and 10.
Great job in coverage. Had a double move out on the outside, had no chance, nowhere to go with the ball. Great pressure, throw the ball away, and live to fight another down.
Looked like Notre Dame was going to run away with this, at least in the first half, maybe of 17-0. But the Hokies coming back with that big run by Evans. 17-7, and some more momentum on Notre Dame's side as Josh Adams flashes into Hokie territory for a gain of 16 before he's brought down by Terrell Edmonds.
A couple of great blocks by Mike McGlinchey, and then 82 Swisher coming across. Wisher kicks it out, straight north-south cut for Josh Adams.
And a quick snap here for Kaiser, who's out to C.J. Sanders. And Sanders looking for the first down. We've got a flag at the 41-yard line. Sanders picks up 11, but we'll see what the latest call is.
Oh, St. Brown.
Holding. Offense. Number 6. 10-yard penalty. First down.
So that comes back on Equanimous St. Brown.
Both he and Stefferson are double teaming Reynolds, and Reynolds fights. Just keep fighting. St. Brown hooks him with the left arm, becomes a holding. And he split him nice, so St. Brown reached. Just let him go. You had a double team. Just get a piece of him. We'll be outside.
Fuente was hot, so now it's Brad Kelly's
of
turn.
Course. Well, if you don't argue, they're going to call another one in a hurry. So they figure if you argue every one, they're not going to call them all.
So he's not just planting the seed for maybe a call that will come his way later.
Absolutely.
The art of coaching on the sidelines.
It's a negotiation.
So now 1st and 17 after the Sanders pass play comes back. And Kaiser complete at the 40-yard line to the guy that picked up the penalty, St. Brown, the leading receiver for the Irish, with a big gain.
Just a nice one-on-one route against Alexander, who's just a freak of an athlete, and a great cut coming out of the break by St. Brown. Nice timing on the pass. Alexander he's probably the best cover guy on the field right now for Virginia Tech.
It's going to be 3rd and short as Kaiser is short of the sticks. Now Adonis Alexander is down on the ground for Virginia Tech. He's the guy filling in for Greg Stroman, who's out with an injured ankle. And so Virginia Tech can ill afford to lose him, as he took a big hit by Kaiser.
Tell you, Kaiser's running tough, boy. Little contact up around the head area, but they seem to be working on the shoulder. So that's, don't want to speculate.
We mentioned the jersey number 25 that is awarded to the special teams player in the name of Frank Beamer, who wore it in his college days at Virginia Tech. It was Alexander who wore the 25 jersey last week in the game against Georgia Tech, because he had a 75-yard blocked field goal return against Duke, which earned him that number 25. It was the tradition that was instilled by Fuente, and there is the number 25 jersey today, which belongs to C.J. Carroll, normally number 86.
Usually the guy that wears it winds up making a big play with it. I mean, Divine Diallo wore it a couple of games back, and right away on his opening kick, he goes down and strip fumble.
It's magic.
It's magic.
It's the Beamer magic. By the way, Frank Beamer not at the game today. He's never been to Notre Dame. He's actually serving as a motivational speaker for a Miss Virginia team pageant that's happening down in Blacksburg this weekend. You can't make it up, Doug. 3rd and 2. Big play for Kaiser to the Irish, and he picks up the first down, complete to Corey Holmes. Holmes upset that he wasn't able to break it. Gain of 18 for Holmes.
Holmes does a great job of widening his defender, coming to the gap. Little stutter and then in. Very nicely done, and almost steps out of it. Nice timing on the throw. That was Faison in coverage. He did a nice job of widening his man. Little stutter step and underneath.
Irish at the Hokie 18. Kaiser, pump fake. Then he goes to the goal line, and it's complete for a Miles Boykin touchdown. 18-yard score for the sophomore from Tinley Park, Illinois. We saw Fink with his first career touchdown earlier, and Miles Boykin has his first career touchdown.
By stuttering and taking his time, the safety goes over the top to cover the tight end, and Boykin comes free. The way Virginia Tech matches in coverage, once you make one move, it sends a defender the other way, and then off of that move, you go up through the seam, and guys are wide open.
Just the 6th catch of the season for Miles Boykin. So first it was Fink, and now it's Miles Boykin. So it's senior day, but some younger players getting into the act with their first touchdowns on this snowy day in South Bend. Fighting Irish with 6 minutes left in the opening half increased their lead now 24-7 over Virginia Tech.
I'll tell you what, Brian Kelly did some extra work game plan this week with some of his pass patterns. We'll get to that in a minute, but great route designs.
The Cherison kick with the wind blows to the back of the end zone, and so the Hokies with 6 minutes left will come out to the 25-yard line.
It looked easy, and it looks easy. Guys are running wide open. No, it's the design. Little stutter, let the inside route clear. That stutter gives you time to have a bigger window. And then on this one, Boykin comes in and stutters so that the safety will cover the deep guy, then run deep when no one's home. Great job of clearing out the upfield defenders.
And so much talk before the season began. Again, Will Fuller graduating and some other fine receivers moving on, and it was up to the young receiving core for Notre Dame. Well, Fink and Boykin with their first career catches, and again without Torrey Hunter out for the 2nd straight game with a knee injury. And Evans begins this with a give to Stephen Peoples, and Peoples is wrapped up there by Cole Luke in his final game at Notre Dame Stadium. The senior from Chandler, Arizona, who's loving life as a nickel mostly.
Phil's in a hurry. He came flying, and there was a lot of space. This is an open field tackle, goes right at him, attacks, brings him to the ground.
Gain of 3, 2nd and 7. The ball is loose again, and Evans has to fight for it to recover it. So once again, a loose exchange.
Boy, that time Evans wanted to pull it, but Peoples thinks it's in his pocket, so he's going to take it. Ends up on the ground. Hayes is coming down. He's reading Hayes crashing. Evans wanted to pull the ball, but it was in the belly of Peoples.
This has got to be driving Fuente nuts on the sidelines. It was a mistake-prone game last week that led to the undoing. Just when you think that his team is coming back, Notre Dame increases it to 24-7, and now it's 3rd and 11, and Evans is going to try it on the ground and pick up the first down. Sliding across the 35.
Boy, Onwalu came in as a free rusher, had a free run at Evans. He just sidesteps and runs up through the pocket. This could have been a negative play, but this is what a mobile quarterback can do for you. And you're not just going to get a hand on him and bring him down either. You've got to wrap him up.
Evans, another high snap, able to handle it and gets it off out there in the flat to C.J. Carroll. And Carroll picks up the first down across the 45 for a gain of 11.
Just a little pivot route. Carroll's really quick, shifty guy, good hands, does a little of everything. Just, maybe not the high-end, top-end speed, but really quick.
We're on that special number 25 number. So the Hokies at the 46, and they give it to Sam Rogers, the do-it-all running back, fullback. He's played H-back. He's played tight end. I mean, when we talked to Fuente earlier in the week, we said, who are the standout players on your offense? He said, Sam Rogers is the best football player we have on offense.
He makes up for a lot of shortcomings, can help in pass protection, does a little of everything.
And there he is in motion, setting up to the right of Evans on 2nd and 3. We've got movement on the left side for Notre Dame.
This is identical to the play that Fuente got upset about. Notre Dame moves, Virginia Tech responds.
Offside, defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty.
And they got the call this time.
So there's no way the official was to go the other way and hear it from Fuente.
No, he's not going to hear it. This one was too obvious, though. Both jumped. But it was basically that same. It happened the same way the last time.
So the Hokies down at the Irish 42. And the clock rolling with 3.5 minutes to go. Evans standing in, feels pressure, just floats it out of bounds, and a flag comes in.
It's probably still in the pocket.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 99. 15-yard penalty. First down.
And that is on Jerry Tillery.
We had Ford running down the side, wanted to put it up deep, decided not to, hesitate, and throw it away. And yeah, there's contact, and yeah, it wasn't big, it wasn't a huge hit. But, you know, if you're taking more than one step, don't hit him. If you're taking a couple extra steps, once the ball's gone, it's gone. The play's over. Don't hit him.
Another high snap. Evans able to handle that, and he gets it to Ford, his record-setting receiver for a big gain of 12.
Running the slant route. Works on Vaughn, slips inside. Just quick feet. He is a polished
receiver downfield on the offense. Number 64. 5-yard penalty. First down.
We were talking about this with Brian Kelly. Those are RPOs, run pass options. So the quarterback may have a running play called and decide to throw the slant. And all of a sudden, linemen get upfield because there was a run play call. Somebody fires out, gets down the field. Virginia Tech has gotten away with a lot of them. Gets a few called here and there.
In fact, the defensive coaches sent some clips of Virginia Tech's aforementioned RPOs that you're talking about, just to make them aware of that exact situation. So maybe it paid off there. First and 15, Evans with a quick toss over to Sam Rogers, and Rogers fighting his way inside the 25-yard line. That's a gain of 9 for Sam Rogers from Mechanicsville, Virginia.
Virginia Tech does a great job on those of leading the quarterback on that on the snap from center.
There's Elston, who told us he's the guy that calls the defensive sets up top, while Greg Hudson, the defensive coordinator, is on the sidelines. He's a guy that said, watch out for those RPO and guys downfield.
RPO stands for run pass option.
And this is Cam Phillips, who they call the vacuum cleaner, just pretty much sucks up everything that comes his way. You've got the big 3 receivers, and that includes Bucky Hodges and Isaiah Ford, and Cam Phillips, number 5, who's 4th all-time on the Virginia Tech receiving list.
He has a lot of the jet sweeps. He gets those wide receiver screens, a lot of the underneath stuff. He's explosive. I'll tell you, they've got weapons, no doubt about it.
He was just short of the first down, so 3rd down and 1 under 2 minutes remaining in the opening half. And trying to pick up the first down, and spinning and twirling is Stephen Peoples, and he gets it. First down, Virginia Tech.
Keeps going, puts his nose in there and rolls off. I thought for a second he was going to bounce outside and get the edge because Rochelle came down and lost contain there for a second. Initially, Peoples was trying to stick his nose in there to just get the first down. Rolls off the pile, works his way to the outside, and picks up a solid first down.
An important drive here, Doug, for Virginia Tech. If they can get back within 10 at the half, that would be big psychologically. Evans going to the end zone, and it's just not able to hook up there with Phillips. That was Julian Love.
What a play on the ball.
Just
yes,
tipped that ball. It was just so quickly done.
Phillips was allowing him to sleep on the move and went.
No,
he didn't get a hand on it.
I wasn't sure if he tipped it or not.
You know, with the way the ball was coming in, maybe Phillips lost sight of it for a split second. I don't know. The vacuum cleaner, I don't know. They pulled the plug there for a second. But no, it was a great route, beautiful throw. I don't know what happened at the end there.
That brings up 2nd down and 10. Evans, quick hitter at the 10-yard line. And this time the vacuum cleaner sweeps his way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Talk
Hokies.
about quickness. Oh, my. Wow. Phillips puts his foot in the ground, bounces back to the, watch this right here in the slot. Simple little route, but stops on a dime, ball on time, boom. Little basically crossover move left to right.
It just juked Jalen Elliott there. What a move by Cam Phillips, just so smooth. Junior from Laurel, Maryland, had a season high 10 catches against Georgia Tech last week. Career high 10 catches. As Joey Sly indeed tacks on the extra point to make it a 10-point game with 1:18 left. So Cam Phillips had a chance for the touchdown in the corner of the end zone. This time he waltzes in to bring the Hokies closer. First time Brian Kelly has faced the Hokies. When Kelly was head coach at Cincinnati, his Bearcats traveled down to Miami to take on Virginia Tech in the 2009 Orange Bowl. Tyrod Taylor ran for a touchdown, and Darren Evans racked up 153 yards on the ground with a score as the Hokies, led by Frank Beamer, went on to win it 20-7. Not a good look there by Kelly with the Bearcats, and he would stay with Cincy for one more season before leaving here for Notre Dame. And of course, after 29 years, Beamer is gone, leaving, and Puente is in. So it's Puente and Kelly on the sidelines, and this is C.J. Sanders taking it across the 25-yard line, where Notre Dame will begin with 1:13 left. Reminder coming up, the State Farm halftime report. Liam McHugh joined in the studio by Dahani Jones, and Jimmy Clausen's back. They'll have all the scores and highlights from around college football, break down the first half of this game, preview of Sunday night's matchup between the Packers and the Redskins. It's all coming up on the State Farm halftime report. By the way, Florida stopped LSU on a goal line stand, I think 4 plays in the game to hold on for a win. So another exciting and busy day in college football coming up on the State Farm report. So Doug, your Kaiser and the Irish here. What's the game plan here?
Get after 2 minutes.
A little high there to Josh Adams.
Just a great way to start a 2-minute offense is to dump a screen pass. They had a chance to get a little chunky yardage there easily. Ball floats away. Kaiser does have the wind at his back in this 2-minute situation, so it just happened a little quick for him. Got the ball out there. Josh Adams couldn't get his head around, but 2 timeouts for Notre Dame, over a minute on the clock. Plenty of time to at least get into field goal range.
Kaiser has had a number of good runs. This is another first down scamper for 12. Motua Powaka with a stop on Kaiser.
He got behind Harrell and just did a little peekaboo there. Got up through. Great patience on that run.
And this time he goes to the air to Stepherson.
Did not get out of bounds. Had to use a timeout.
Yep. That's what Kelly's talking about. You got to get out of bounds. Let's go.
Know the situation. If you don't have the first down, get out of bounds. If you're past the first down marker, get whatever you can. Get up the field because the clock will stop on first down. Now, he should just head towards the sideline and get out of bounds. Great job by Alexander bringing him down and keeping him in play.
So, again, a lot on the line for Notre Dame here, trying to be bowl eligible. It's not totally impossible if they win one of the last 2 not to get in. It just depends on how many 6-win teams they need to fill the slots at the end of the bowl for the bowl season. But if you're Brian Kelly and Notre Dame, you've got to win out in order to think you've really got a shot at a bowl. And again, the Hokies headed to their 24th consecutive bowl game. And they have a chance to play for the ACC title. They've got Virginia at home next week. A win there would clinch it. The Coastal Division title. Kaiser, that'll bring up 3rd down and 3.
Bud Foster just dialing it up, bringing pressure, what we call zero coverage, no free safety, bringing the house. And it was Edmonds, 49, looping around and coming through clean, and he had to get rid of the football early.
Tremaine Edmonds with his brother Terrell in the secondary. They had a brother named Trey who was a running back on Virginia Tech. He's since transferred to Maryland. And they're the sons of the former Pro Bowl tight end for Miami and Seattle, Farrell Edmonds, who coached his sons in high school. But a big 3rd down and 3 here, Doug, to keep this drive alive. Play clock going down to 00 as flags came in.
False start. Offense. Number 68. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And another one on McGlinchey.
Yeah, he gets a little amped up.
Last 2 games, exactly. We were talking to Kelly about that. We said, "What's going on there?" And he said, "You know what? He gets so amped up. And he knows it. He tries to control himself."
He used the Bull Durham reference by saying he needs to learn to breathe through his eyelids.
3rd and 8, and that is St. Brown, and they're going to mark him short of the first down. First down you need at the midfield stripe.
You might challenge the mark because initially he was right. Oh, they moved it up to the line. That's a good mark. It's about right where it was.
Still going to be 4th down, or are they going to come out and measure?
I thought they were marking it about a half yard short of where they ended up marking it, but he was right at the marker. And then in trying to break the tackle, was tackled about a yard back. He has the first down with the route.
That moved the ball. The spot is back
and
now clearly behind the line.
But he stepped back to the ball to catch it, so he may not have had possession of the ball and contact made until he was behind the first down.
So that they moved it back. It's going to be 4th down and that much with 25 seconds left, and Notre Dame with 1 timeout left.
See, I mean, he catches the ball beyond the mark, no doubt about it. Where is contact made? Where's the ball when contact is made is where the ball will be marked. Right there is where it should be marked. Wherever forward progress was when he spun would be where the ball is marked, which would be right up near that line, maybe a foot further forward. Fourth and 1, I don't think you go for it on 4th and 1 in this situation. If it winds up 4th and short, punt it away and go to the second half, because the odds are just as good of them stopping you and having a shot for points as for you. Even if you get the first down, there's no guarantee you're going to get points. If it were a situation where you pick up the first down, you're already in field goal range, then you do it.
Looks like they're going to go for it.
You know, the hand gesture that Kaiser just made towards Kelly, to me, might imply maybe we'll do a dummy cadence here and try to draw him offside.
Well, Fuente has calmed down a bit after that.
He's moved on.
Earlier episode that drew a flag.
If nothing else, if they get a mark off the replay that's even closer to the first down marker. Wherever the ball was right there was as close as he had. And here's a good angle for it. First down marker right around the 50. There's contact, but he spins forward to there. That's where the ball should be marked, which would be almost right at the line.
Yeah, where they have the ball spotted right now, I would move it up a bit. I don't know if
move it up about a foot, but when you're cut, when it's just a matter of inches, they don't change a mark.
Well, that's what all this instant replay has come down to, right? We sit
it's
around
a game of inches.
Wait for that game of inches call when it's just so
At
hard.
the review, the ruling on the field is confirmed that the ball carrier is short of the line to gain. Notre Dame will be charged their 3rd and final timeout. We'll have no more challenges the rest of the game.
Well, the punting unit's coming out like
Absolutely.
now.
Yeah.
Because obviously without a timeout.
As long as he didn't. Now, if he had gained the first down and there's a significant difference, you can alter it. But if it's only a foot or so, he's still going to be short of the first down. They did not change the placement of the ball.
So Tyler Newsome on to punt it away to C.J. Carroll. Another good snap by Scott Daly, who is perfection personified in his 4 years here at Notre Dame as the long snapper. He's number 61, and it's always good not to have your name called, Doug, when you're the long snapper. And that has been the case for Daly through the years. He came into this game with 465 long snaps, either for a punt, a field goal, or a point after, and every single one of them has been perfect. He's never been the reason that a point after has been missed, or a punt has been fumbled, or a field goal has been missed. It's been an amazing career for Scott Daly. We had a chance to talk to him earlier this week as Virginia Tech just took a knee, but Hats off to Scott Daly. We're mentioning your name, and it's good.
It's a good thing. He's even bulking up to prepare potentially for
the next
NFL
level.
future.
That's right.
And he did say he's got a few tackles along the way, covering kicks.
And this is what Fuente has had a habit of doing this year. This is nothing that is abnormal. He kind of brings in the troops before they head to the locker room, has a few words, and they'll go in down by 10 as we send you down to Catherine Tappan.
Coach Niles Boykin and Chris Fink with their first career touchdowns in this one. What does that tell you about how Deshaun Kaiser is appealing to his targets right now?
Yeah, Deshaun's played very well, and we've got a bunch of young guys that are getting an opportunity to make some plays, and they've stepped up. 24 points against a good defense in the first half. Pleased with our offense. Defensively, we just got too tentative. We got some young guys out here that just got to be more aggressive. Step up in coverage. They threw just a little spot route that turns into a touchdown. Just got to be more aggressive and more assertive, in short field situations.
Coach, thank you for your time. Dan?
Thanks, Catherine. Notre Dame at one point had a 17-0 lead. The Hokies closed within 10. And don't forget the halftime performance of the Notre Dame band can be seen on NBCSports.com, as we're now going to send you to Liam McHugh in our NBC Sports studio. Within 8 points or less, and we've got a pretty close game right now. The Hokies within 10 as we get ready to begin the second half. A look at the first half stats brought to you by Jersey Mike Subs.
A lot of those rushing yards were also Kaiser. Both quarterbacks are their leading rushers for their teams. 299 total first half yards for Notre Dame. Great offensive half, but Virginia Tech gets the ball first with an opportunity to close the gap, because they've had it going a little bit there in the second quarter.
The 4-6 Notre Dame Fighting Irish against the 7-3 Virginia Tech Hokies. Irish trying to stay bowl eligible. And the wind's still swirling here as it has gotten even colder as the sun has set. The temperature, the opening kickoff was about 35 degrees, wind chill factor in the 20s, and it's getting chillier by the moment.
Notre Dame will be kicking with the wind at their back here, so that means Virginia Tech trying to throw the ball into the wind.
As John Cherison gets ready to begin the third quarter, and they're going to have to hold this one.
Well, you get two shots. If it blows off once, you put it back on. The second time, you got to bring a holder in. And so usually that's your safety man on the kickoff coverage team. He's going to be trailing the play anyway.
So away we go in the second half, and Cherison's kick taken by Henry Murphy, and the Hokies will begin at their 25. Let's send you down to Catherine Tappan.
Well, Dan, I spoke to Virginia Tech head coach Justin Fuente at halftime, and he said the biggest thing for us, we needed to settle down. For the first 10 minutes of that game, we acted like we had never played football before. He said we've got to run the ball and stop the run. I asked him about the weather being a factor in this game, and he said the biggest thing is just affecting the kicking game. We've got to get better in that area. As for injury updates, Jerron Quillen, the defensive back, and cornerback Adonis Alexander, he said, are fine. I spoke to Justin Yoon about that kicking game on the Notre Dame side. I said, how much is the wind affecting this? And he said he likes to consider it like his golf swing. Each time he steps up, he sees which way the wind is blowing and how hard it's going, and he adjusts accordingly. Every time in this game, it's been different for him, Dan.
All right, thanks, Tap. And so Evans begins here with a give to Peoples, and Peoples with a pretty good gain. Drew Tranquil on the stop for Notre Dame.
That's a nice little start. Sam Rogers leading it up through there. Pick up a good gain on first down. Virginia Tech would like to establish the run in this drive.
And up across, still short of the first down, is Peoples again. And that'll bring up third down and about 3. So we mentioned that Kaiser was the leading rusher for the game. In fact, both quarterbacks, Doug, led their team in rushing after the first half, Evans and Kaiser.
We talked about it in our pregame. They are dynamic guys. And with the way they run the football, defenses have to commit extra people to the run and leave a lot of one-on-one matchups in the pass game.
Still a light snow and gusting winds continuing here in the third quarter. Evans throws it to his right, and this is complete and on And the run is C.J. Carroll. C.J. Carroll looking for the end zone for Virginia Tech. They're going to mark him out at about the 11 or 6-yard line. But C.J. Carroll, with that special jersey of Frank Beamer's 25, rambles 62 yards.
Carroll going up against Tranquil on a slant route, little pump fake, and then it opens up. And then he's off and running. He is a quick change direction guy, little scat back type. Reminds me of a guy, Tim DeWitt, I played with out of Iowa.
He's just 5'8", 167 pounds, but C.J. Carroll sets up the Hokies on the Notre Dame doorstep here. First and goal from the 6. And this is Peoples again close to the goal line.
Really well blocked. People should have scored. Evans is putting his arms up like it should have been a touchdown. He gets tripped up and comes up short. But Virginia Tech has established the line of scrimmage. Their offensive line and fullback are doing a great job right now.
Storming down the field thanks to that big game by Carroll. Second and goal, looking for the end zone. And touchdown Virginia Tech, and it's Peoples, who after Carroll with the big gain, they went to Stephen Peoples successively. And now the Hokies have a chance here to get within 3.
Boy, just a little push on the right side, and that's all they needed. Rogers secured the edge, and Peoples put the shoulder down. Very physical running attack with this team. Even if it's not a running back and the quarterback runs by Evans, they're very physical. And that's what I was expecting them early in the game, and it wasn't happening.
And it's what we were just alluding to, Doug. They scored with less than 2 minutes to go in the first half. And they take it right down the field on a 75-yard drive. The big game by C.J. Carroll, and then Peoples takes it in to make it a 24-21 Notre Dame advantage just into the second half. And by Jersey Mike's, be a sub above. Some of the pictures from our great crew here at Notre Dame Football, the folks that work behind the scenes so hard, and there we are on the big group shot just before the game today. Hats off to another great season of Notre Dame football on NBC by our fantastic crew. And the Irish here with C.J. Sanders bringing it out, dropped at the 22-yard line. So all of a sudden, Doug, Notre Dame has been outscored 21-7 after taking that 17-0 lead, and that's been a problem for Notre Dame this season. Teams coming back with some streaky points.
And quick score at the end of the half. The score starting the second half. Now Kaiser's got to come back out with that same edge that he had early in the game, the way he was running the ball, picking up first downs. This is a very important drive for Notre Dame to stem that momentum.
And they give it to C.J. Sanders. And Sanders gets up to the 25-yard line for a gain of about 3. Chuck Clark on the stop for the Hokies. And after a shaky start, when Notre Dame just went up and down the field offensively, this Virginia Tech defense has stiffened a bit as well.
Receivers were running wide open all over the field. As long as Kaiser had time to throw. There's another procedure call on number 68.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
False start. Offense. Number 68. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
And there was a lot of speculation as to whether Mike McGlinchey would go declare himself eligible for the NFL draft, but this is kind of one of those things that Kelly was telling, this is one of the things he has to work on before he takes his game to the next level. So McGlinchey has said, I am going to stay. That's the plan right now for his last season next year. Second down and 7 after the penalty. Actually, second down and 12 after the penalty. Equanimous St. Brown still short of the first down. That'll bring up third down.
Nice route, protection. Kaiser standing firm in the pocket, steps up through and delivering a strike to get decent down and distance for third down. Virginia Tech does a lot of things in the secondary that can be very confusing to a quarterback, and Kaiser's doing a good job of deciphering and finding the one-on-one matchups.
Chance for Bud Foster's lunch pail defense to buckle down here on this third down and 4. And that one is incomplete. Fourth down, and Notre Dame will have to punt on its opening series of the second half.
Well, Alexander was out in the coverage. Kaiser thought he was one-on-one out there, but he had safety help, so Alexander was just covering the flat, and it's more of a zone. He makes it look like it's going to be man-to-man, but he's just sitting there, and he has the short zone, broke on the ball. Good thing that ball was thrown low for an incompletion. It could have gone the other way.
And C.J. Carroll stands back at his 30-yard line. He had the big pass play that set up the last touchdown by the Hokies. This is an excellent punt by Tyler Newsome, hanging it. And Carroll takes a shot right there at the 30-yard line. Call it the 31-yard line by Avery Sebastian. Notre Dame hanging on by 3. Well, faster than the Four Horsemen in the background there at the Goove football facility here at Notre Dame. And there's a look at the final 4 there. Remaining chase contenders, Joey Logano along with Johnson, Carl Edwards, and Kyle Busch. Top finisher out of those 4 will win the Sprint Cup Championship. It's all at stake tomorrow in Miami. So Virginia Tech pulling within 3, beginning at its own 31, and then again with his pass complete to C.J. Carroll. Instrumental in that previous touchdown drive. Drew Tranquil on the stop, but not before a gain of 7 by Carroll, who's pumped up as he heads to the sideline.
Evans is finding himself a little rhythm now. He's getting more confident. He has the nice completions, and then the receiver's taking and running. He's got a couple of runs under his belt.
So what will the Hokies do on 2nd and 3? They'll do that familiar jet sweep to Phillips, which has been so successful this season. And he picks up the first down.
Well, this is what Phillips does. He's quick. He caught a quick little short pass, makes something out of it, runs to jet sweeps, wide receiver screens. Made a nice little cut there to pick up the first down.
Hokies on the move at the 42.
All of a sudden, the team that was fumbling and bumbling a little bit early on in the game is making it look easy.
Notre Dame looked like they were going to blow them out. It was 17-0. And they go with Ford the other way. So they Phillips to the near side, Ford to the far side. And he's run out of bounds by Cole Luke. Ford, such a talented player. In fact, when he came out of high school, he actually committed to play basketball at Louisville for Rick Pitino. He wanted to go both football and basketball. Virginia Tech was also interested in him, but Charlie Strong, who was the football coach at Louisville, left, and Ford saw that as a sign, and he went to Virginia Tech. Lofting it up toward Ford's way, and that was a beautiful soft toss by Evans. Julian Love on the coverage, but Ford picks up another first down gain of 23.
Little stutter and go, little stop and go there. Gets up high. Ball delivered perfectly over the outside shoulder. Drop it in the bucket on the outside. And Love can't get his head around. Once you get in a trail position as a defensive back, you don't have time to get your head around and find the ball. You have your head down, chasing to recover.
29 yards for Ford, who came into the game 217 reception yards short of the school record in that department. This one is behind Phillips, and that was
that's a lateral. That ball should be marked where it's out of bounds. The wind took it. I mean, it might have slid out of his hand a little bit, but this thing starts fluttering left to right about 4 or 5 yards. I mean, it starts moving on the way. I mean, there must have been a good gust of wind there, because that thing moved at least 4 or 5 yards backwards.
So that's going to result in a loss of 8 for the Hokies, driving them back to the Notre Dame 39.
They are going into the wind. And the easier throws in going this direction will be to the left side of the field.
Empty set for Evans. Pass is caught at the 30-yard line. No, now they're saying it's incomplete, intended for Carroll. And that'll bring a 3rd and long. This might have been tipped. Yeah, that's Jerron Jones at the line of scrimmage. That big 79-inch wingspan that we've been talking about all season long. He's gotten 6 block kicks as well in his career, and that one appeared like he did veer it off the mark. So 3rd and long now for Virginia Tech. Wind definitely a factor. And they go to Phillips, and Phillips gets some of it back, but that's going to bring up 4th and long.
This may be a go-for-it situation. They're sending the, I believe, field goal unit on the field. Oh, punting. Yeah, it's tough to kick in this direction. The wind in your face. I assume they may go for it. but it's 4th and 11, so go ahead and punt it away and try to pin Notre Dame down.
Yeah, be in that 50-yard field goal range, and Joey Sly, the field goal kicker's never made one that long, and so it's a little pooch one by Ludwig. That was interesting.
Didn't go too far.
Pooched a little too much.
Well, you hit it up into that wind with that end-over-end action. The wind really catches it and knocked it down.
So just a 14-yard punt. Fuente was hoping to pin back Notre Dame a little deeper as they'll take over at the 18. Central on NBC as the holidays get ready to kick into full swing here. Feeling a little bit more like the holidays. Crazy weather. It was 70 degrees on campus yesterday. Many of the students out in shorts enjoying maybe the last kind of bit of good weather. So the snow thickening here as Notre Dame begins at its own 18-yard line, leading by just 3. Virginia Tech has snatched all the momentum. Kaiser trying to get it back and sliding close to the first down marker. And he's slow in getting up. That is Terrell Edmonds on the helmet of Kaiser.
As he's sliding, too. That would normally get called getting hit as you're sliding, even if you don't hit him in the head. So they missed one there. He got up slowly.
Terrell Edmonds, in fact, missed the first half of last week's game due to a targeting call against Duke. And this is a high snap that Kaiser's not able to handle, and then he falls on it back inside his own 15. So,
well, I thought they did get a flag. There was procedure. Right guard Harold jumped, and then the ball was snapped.
Offense, right guard, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's the second jump by Harold.
Yeah, but they're thankful.
Career start. Yeah,
they're thankful
taking
for that. We'll take it. He's like, Coach, I knew this was going to happen. Actually, the whole right side jumped early.
Big day, big game for Harold. Again, a fifth-year grad. His folks driving up from Charlotte, renting an SUV, taking the 12-hour drive. He got his first start on his dad's birthday last week in the game against Army. But he's had a couple of false starts. That one turns out to be a good one for Notre Dame. And on 1st and 15, that is thrown behind Adams. And Adams loses yardage.
Not only, well, Notre Dame has the wind at their back right now, but the wind blows across the field towards the Notre Dame bench. And anything that has touch on it coming to that side of the field, I mean, he tries to rock it out there. Josh Adams was way out ahead of him. And Kaiser was late with the pitch, so he had to force the issue. But anything that's got touched to the left side of the field right now is going to be iffy.
Second down at 16. Kaiser taking that big hit to the head by Edmonds a couple of plays ago. Feeling more pressure and just getting rid of it. 3rd and 16. Ricky Walker was providing the pressure for Virginia Tech up front. Look at this. Talked about the tough start by Virginia Tech. Yards by quarter. Huge advantage in that first quarter especially. Then Virginia Tech chipped away in the second quarter, and now it has been all Hokies as they've outscored Notre Dame 21-7, trailing by 3, less than midway point of the third quarter. And a chance to get the ball back here with Notre Dame faced with 3rd and long. Kaiser chased by a cannon, gets rid of that defender, and will be brought down at about the 25-yard line by Tremaine Edmonds. So it'll be a punt for the Irish, and the Hokies will get the ball back.
Only a 3-man rush, so Kaiser figured he could hold on to the ball, move around a little bit, but Edmonds flushes him and chases. Here, this is something Kaiser really feels all the time. He feels the 3-man rush, believes he can make a big play if he can just hold on to the ball for a little while, and it just is not happening right now.
Got a new return man back there for Virginia Tech. It's Cam Phillips. This is a low punt by Newsom that Phillips fields at the 33. And then he loses his balance short of the 40. But again, decent field position for the Hokies after the 42-yard punt. Hokies now looking to either tie or take the lead. Officials about the previous play that apparently had Edmonds targeting Deshaun Kaiser, and again there was no buzz down for a replay because targeting is reviewable, and Kelly upset that his quarterback Kaiser took a shot, clearly helmet to helmet shot,
and it is reviewable. That's, you can miss a call on the field, but that one definitely should have been reviewed,
and that's what Kelly was upset about. But no call was made. Play went on without a review, and now Evans going deep down the middle of the field. It's off of the hands of Phillips and into Drew Tranquil's.
Great read by Evans. Great decision. Beautiful execution. Feels the post route. No safety help. There he goes. Down the middle of the field. Perfectly thrown. And it's off the fingertips. Up in the air. Tranquil lays out and makes a great interception. This is not an easy catch off a deflection. Maintains possession to the ground. Boy, you can't. The wind is a factor. The wind's at your back. The ball carries a little further than you expect. So, nothing is easy. All these pitches and catches that have been going on, the ball's moving.
So Phillips should have made the catch, the aforementioned vacuum cleaner off of his hands, and Tranquil takes advantage of it, and it's another turnover for the Hokies as Kaiser keeps. And while we have a moment, let's send you back down to Catherine.
Well, Doug, you were talking about the wind being a factor, and also before you mentioned the difference in both sidelines here. Notre Dame's sideline is significantly colder than Virginia Tech's, the wind, the way it's coming into the stadium. But I talked to both equipment managers on both teams, and they said they really haven't made major adjustments with regards to the uniforms. Players are just keeping their hands in the hand warmers in the backs, and they don't seem to be having too much trouble in that regard. But it is significantly colder over here for Notre Dame, Dan.
Well, you see the latest wind at 14 miles an hour. It's been gusting over 20 easily. Wind chill factor in the low 20s as that pass is caught short of the 30 by Corey Holmes.
And staying on the wind situation, Notre Dame only has the wind at their back for 4.5 more minutes. They do have a lead right now. They need to go down and score while the wind's at their back.
Yeah, because if this comes down to a field goal, Notre Dame needs one going the other way. That will be tough. Fighting for first down yardage is Josh Adams. Well, Tuapawaka on the stop for the Hokies as we take a look now at our quarterback comparison brought to you by Scott Trade. It was a tough start for Evans. He has since gotten it together. And Deshaun Kaiser having another good game, but Notre Dame offense trying to keep this one alive. And Adams again loose. Is anybody going to catch him? That is Terrell Edmonds trying to get it, but not before he goes all the way for the touchdown. 67 yards for Josh Adams.
It's just a simple give, and it's a great read because 99 Vinny Mahota was on an island and didn't know which way to go. 62 Colin McGovern made a nice seal block, and Josh Adams just took it north and south and creased it.
So they take advantage of the interception and the turnover. Again, off the fingertips of Cam Phillips. Tranquil with the interception. Adams with a huge run. And just like that, Notre Dame is up again by 10. Josh Adams, the leading rusher for Notre Dame, comes up with another touchdown. And Virginia Tech, which had pulled close, now trailing by 10. Momentum in this game. And Notre Dame again out by 10. He's closing in on another 100-yard game. Longest Notre Dame rush this season at 67 yards for Adams comes at a great time. His second score of the game.
And he really needed to finish the run because Terrell Edmonds was chasing and took a shot at stripping him inside the 5. It was a great job of taking advantage of the turnover, a fortunate turnover that just glanced off the hands of Phillips. Tranquil lays out, makes a nice interception. Notre Dame turns it into points.
So Cherison needs another holder for this one. as Henry Murphy, number 12, is the deep man for Virginia Tech. Less than 4 minutes left in the third quarter. And a low driving kick is taken by Henry. And Henry Murphy across to the 30-yard line. So a good return by Murphy as we take a look at the last drive, which of course came about because of the interception off the fingertips of Phillips and into Drew Tranquill's hands.
Yeah, what should have been a big play for Virginia Tech turns into a turnover, and then a little bit of indecision there by Vinny Mahota defensively, and Josh Adams is buying through for the long run. I'll tell you what, he almost stripped him inside the 5. Great job keeping the ball high and tight, even though you don't expect a hit. That's when the ball is going to come out. Great job of protecting the football.
Second interception in his career. The coach is so impressed with Drew Tranquill this year, playing the best football of his life. Evans to the air at the 35-yard line. It's caught by Sam Rogers. Asmar Bilal on the coverage for Notre Dame. As Evans in the hurry-up tempo here on 2nd and 5. And a quick toss. Another first down taken in by Ford. So Virginia Tech with some more rhythm here.
Boy, these rhythm passes look easy for Virginia Tech. You've got to be afraid of the receivers. They've got such explosive guys on the outside that occasionally the Notre Dame defenders are giving way too much cushion.
Third catch of the game for Ford. He had 8 catches last week, so 3 catches for him is a slow game.
Potential quarterback run here with no one in the box.
Fake it to Rogers, and Evans goes across the middle. Another one complete. This time Phillips hangs on for another Hokie first down and a gain of 17. Tranquill on the coverage.
Virginia Tech is getting looks that early in the game they were trying to run the ball against, but now they're just throwing against 7 men dropping and still completing passes, having guys wide open. Nice job, nice throw down the middle of the field. And on a windy day, the ball's over the middle of the field. The throws down the middle are a lot easier than the outside throws.
And up the middle goes Peoples for a short gain.
Gerard Jones coming off and making a nice play in the backfield. Talking to the defensive linemen themselves, talking to defensive coordinators for Notre Dame. The defensive line for Notre Dame needs to win the one-on-one matchups up front because they can't commit everyone to stop the run. The defensive line has to play off blocks and make plays on their own.
On 2nd and 9, Evans goes to the air and he goes to Ford, trying to get to the first down marker. I believe he's going to be short. Cole Luke was with him.
Along those lines, Mike Elston was saying that, we're not going to be able to commit everybody to the run all the time to stop Evans running the football. When we're covering the pass, we need our D linemen to just win battles one-on-one. So look at Cole Luke hanging on. He's short.
He won that battle, leaving Ford just short. And now 3rd down and less than a yard. Quick snap, and they're going to stop Marshawn Williams to bring up 4th down. Marshawn Williams, 6 feet, 227-pound load there, and right to the line they go on 4th and short. Big play for the Hokies. Evans is going to get it himself. And so they keep the drive alive here with less than a minute to go in the 3rd.
It's a little scary sometimes. When you're lining up that quickly and trying, they got stuffed on 3rd down, Virginia Tech did. On 4th down, line up quickly again and run another quick play. As a quarterback, I know sometimes you can get the defense where they're not lined up, but when I'm running the 4th down play, I want to make sure all my guys know what's going on and in a position. So that's taking a risk sometimes.
So they're down at the Irish 22, trailing by 10 again after the big touchdown run by Adams. Jerron Jones made the tackle on Evans. Jones playing in his last game at Notre Dame Stadium, trying to make it a W. They give it to Williams again, and he moves the pile. Look at Williams go.
What a big push.
Close to the first down. In fact, they're going to give it to him when it looked like he was 5 yards short.
He gets on the back of Sam Rogers, follows him up through the hole, and then once contact is made and everyone stops, I mean, he's driving his legs, but all his offensive linemen live for those opportunities to jump in there and be a part of it, push them forward.
That looks a little bit like Marshawn Lynch run.
Just keep driving the legs. I'm telling you, Virginia Tech in their offensive line and in their run game is starting to dominate the line of scrimmage.
And that's the way we will go into the final quarter with Notre Dame up by 10, 31-21. We'll return to Notre Dame Stadium after these messages from your local NBC station. You're watching Notre Dame football on NBC. To start the fourth quarter. And Notre Dame, with all of these close calls, have turned into losses this year, trying to avoid another one here as Virginia Tech is at the Irish 12 with a 1st and 10. Evans pass complete to Ford. Short of the first down. That's a good gain. Cole Luke ran him out.
Boy, Ford's just a solid route runner, even in press coverage, running an out route, which is very difficult. Usually those turn into fade routes, and Luke out there one-on-one with him.
Hokies can pick up a first down at the 2-yard line on 2nd and 2. Evans looking for a hole. Maybe gets it down to the 3-yard line before Tavon Coney shuts it down.
Just power football. Evans is a big threat down here. Virginia Tech likes to use him with Rogers leading the way in the running attack down close.
Evans will try it again, and this time he is stopped at the 5. And that's going to bring up a big 4th down.
Jerron Jones just wanted the line of scrimmage, split the offensive line, and got into the backfield. Great play of penetrating right in the middle, splits the 2, grabs with the right arm, wraps it up, because they know that Evans wants to be running the football down there.
Unfortunately, not going to mess around here on 4th, and which would be about 3. He's going to bring in Joey Sly here, who's been very accurate inside the 40. This is just a 23-yard field goal attempt to make it 31-24. So Virginia Tech closes the gap a bit, back within a score, just into the 4th. So the Hokies get a field goal, close within a single score. As you look at the latest rage to spread across the nation, the mannequin challenge, the Notre Dame football team on the flight. And wait a minute, we've got the Notre Dame cheerleading staff participating as well. And is that, wait a minute, is that Catherine Tappan as well?
That wasn't her. No way.
These people are not actors.
They're not.
Yeah, this is happening.
This is a football game. This is a live football game.
That's
if
good
people
stuff.
are standing steady, that's pretty darn good. I cheat when I do that.
I feel the sudden urge to just freeze right now.
I stand with statues to pull that one off. We did it at Army. We did it here with the 4 Horsemen.
You and the statue thing. C.J. Sanders is going to take a knee, and Notre Dame will come out.
Tap did a pretty good job.
No, you can't coach that kind of.
You can't coach that
statuesque stuff.
That's just pure talent.
Tap, are you really frozen?
Yeah, that actually wasn't acting. I'm actually permanently frozen down here on the sideline. Must be nice to have those heaters up there, guys.
Oh, no, there's no heaters up
we had,
there.
No. We had to turn them down a little bit. It was a little too close.
Doug, can you turn it down to the control number 2 on the
2 out of 10
level? All right, so Kaiser and the Irish trying to grab back some momentum now. At their own 25-yard line. You see the numbers for Kaiser. He's going to go downfield to start off this series and complete one at St. Brown.
Really didn't have anything on that route. Nice play action, good protection, time to throw, but nowhere to go with the ball. Great coverage by Virginia Tech. And again, if you're Notre Dame, you're trying to keep 2 scores ahead, so you want to go down. And Virginia Tech, all they need is 1 stop, and they are in business.
So Evans on the sideline, he was getting his handwork done at the break. Got a cut, he's bleeding. This is Folston, and he's got nowhere to go. Loss on the play, back at the 20. That's a loss of 5, and Woody Barron, who is the keeper of that lunch pail, which symbolizes that blue-collar effort that Bud Foster instigated all those years ago. The lunch pail defense, there it is. It's been around for years now. That lunch pail, an old lunch pail from a coal miner in New Jersey that Bud Foster put into play, and Woody Behrensman, the keeper of that lunch pail. And you're in good stead when you're managing that lunch pail.
Coming in today, he had 16 tackles for loss. He is always in the backfield.
Third and long. Kaiser across the middle, incomplete. He wanted St. Brown. And that was Adonis Alexander on the coverage.
Great coverage by Alexander and one-on-one coverage all over the field. Pressure. Bud Foster dialing up a pressure so that Kaiser has to get rid of it quickly. And great job on the back end of staying with receivers. 3 and out off the field. Now Notre Dame punting into the wind and giving up field position.
Well, the defense signs a mission statement, and they put it inside that lunch pail to begin the season. As this punt is taken by Carroll, and Virginia Tech's going to have excellent field position, as you mentioned, Doug. So the Hokies indeed brought the lunch pail on that last series. 31-24, and they've got the ball back.
Back.
Finger of his throwing hand being attended to. This is like a cut man in boxing doing some work on Evans, and there's a close-up shot.
Must have happened down on the goal line plays where he's running the football. His grip on the ball early in the game because of the cold weather, I think, was poor. See if it affects him throwing the football.
Good field position by Virginia Tech at the Notre Dame 49, and Evans goes right to work with his favorite target, Ford. Dante Vaughn brings him down, but not before another big gain by the record breaker Ford.
If you play off coverage on Ford, he's going to beat you on any timing type route. Hitches, out, slants. You play press on him, he's got the speed to blow by you. He's dangerous over there. Notre Dame's being very careful with him.
That's the 6th catch of the game for Ford for 66 yards. Second down and short. Design run for Evans, and he's easily going to pick up the first down close to the 35-yard line.
Falling forward, running through tackles. He's almost 240 pounds. It's a design quarterback run, just following his puller. Goes north and south.
On 1st and 10, Evans going for the deep ball. Incomplete. As that was Ford. Cole Luke covering. He's got a strong arm, Evans does.
Cole Luke on Ford in the slot. This is where Cole Luke's most comfortable in coverage, working out of the slot in the nickel position. He's been out on the corner a lot today. There in his nickel position and on the slot, he's very comfortable. That's a tough job because you get a two-way go. They can break any direction from the slot.
On 2nd and 10, this ball is caught, and it's Cam Phillips who reverses his field, trying to pick up the first down. He's going to be a little short, which will bring up 3rd down.
With the quickness of these Virginia Tech receivers, that short passing game feels like stealing. You know, it's just an extended handoff to these guys, and then once the ball in their hands, the fun begins.
So at short yardage, Marshawn Williams is in the backfield for Evans. And they give it to Marshawn, and he picks up the first down. If they mark his forward progress out there.
Well, he bounced off the pile and then restarted forward, so the forward progress will not be given. It'll be back around outside the 35 or 25. He started up in there, but once he bounces off and starts forward again, now it's game on back there. You don't get that original forward progress.
Well, they mark it at the 25, and indeed it is a first down for Marshawn Williams. They give it to him again. He's a tough battering running back, isn't he?
And there's a lot of bodies flying in there. I mean, he's just bouncing off people, and more are coming, and they're all slamming in there. We were talking to both these defenses this week about last week having to play option teams, and this week how they get the back to their regular defense. They get to play fast downhill and play real football again, and they're just flying to the ball.
So Trayvon McMillan has been a non-participant in the Virginia Tech offense. And Evans trying to float it toward Ford. incomplete. That was Cole Luke who was plastered to him. We've got a late flag.
Well, Luke there is a late flag.
Pass interference. Defense.
That was late for a pass interference call.
15-yard penalty. First down.
He had the play covered very well and got in a cut. There's a little hand fight in there. That's not going to get called. I don't know that I'd call that defensive pass interference. He does a great job of cutting off the receiver, staying in front of him. The arm extended could be an arm bar if he were restricting the receiver, but he was already past that position.
Look at Ford,
and it's Ford climbing the ladder. So I don't agree with that call.
Notre Dame fans were,
and usually I'm lobbying for interference on every call.
From your perspective,
yes.
Of course. That is Augie Conti, the right guard for Virginia Tech, with one knee down.
You know, it's Notre Dame is up by 7, but Virginia Tech, having the wind at their back through this fourth quarter now, I feel is in the driver's seat. They're within one score. They're driving here. Field position is going to be tough for Notre Dame. Notre Dame, in order to maintain a lead, is going to have to run the football. And Virginia Tech is the team running and throwing and moving the ball at will with the wind at their back.
Pass interference call now has it 1st and goal at the 7. And this Virginia Tech Hokie team, tough team. You've already seen the defense kind of resurrect itself in this game. They have won 6 of their last 7 on the road. They've knocked off some good quality teams on the road, and in their first trip ever to Notre Dame Stadium, they were down 17-0 and now trying to tie it up. And plunging close to the 5-yard line is Peoples. That'll bring up 2nd down and goal.
Boy, there's just not a lot of space. Notre Dame committing everyone to the run, forcing Virginia Tech to try to throw the ball down here. Evans is a big threat running the ball down here.
Evans trying to find his man Hodges. And Hodges at 6'7" was still looking for an indication from the official for a touchdown.
The arms never went up.
I haven't seen anybody's arms go up other than big Bucky Hodges.
There's no doubt he caught the ball in my mind.
Did he have control of the ball?
There's a little movement in there, but I think you're calling, well, obviously they line up for an extra point. They called it a catch. Bucky Hodges at 6'7". He actually gave a little push off just before the ball arrived.
And
create some space.
The point after is already through as Joey Sly ties it up. Bucky Hodges out jumps Julian Love. Always open even when he's covered. This was the defensive pass interference play that was called on Cole Luke, and we believe that is what Brian Kelly is still upset about, because that set up the Bucky Hodges touchdown reception, and I thought that was a little questionable, and I was surprised we didn't see a review on that.
I thought Cole Luke was in perfect position to defend that pass, and Ford actually climbed up over him to avoid him from intercepting the ball. And then on the touchdown, Hodges kept his arms extended just to keep a little separation and keep his DB where he knew he was, and as the ball arrived, gave just a little bit of a push to create the separation to go up and get the ball.
It's the first tie of the game, 31-all with just over 9 minutes to go. As we take a look at the pulse of this game, and there has been a few different pulses to it. Deshaun Kaiser started off red hot. They had Boykin and Fink for their first ever touchdown receptions. Gerard Evans, after a slow start, got things into gear on the ground and through the air. And then it was a big run by Josh Adams, a 60-yard plus jaunt that looked like Notre Dame was threatening to pull away. And then the pass interference call on Luke. And then Bucky Hodges here, Doug, fighting off Julian Love.
Yeah, I really think that left arm was extended and hold Julian Love off to make the play.
So Notre Dame now finds itself in one of these tight games again. And this is Adams in for a good gain of 6 yards.
That's a great gain of 6 yards against the defense that was playing run all the way and out in man-to-man coverage, and be able to gain 6 yards out of that. That's a good start for Notre Dame.
And Kaiser's got some pressure, gets rid of it. Pass is floating downfield and out of bounds, as that was intended for Nick Wisher. 3rd and 4. Donis Alexander with the big tight end.
Virginia Tech, coverage-wise, does a great job of passing routes off to each other and picking up guys as they go down the field. For a second, it looked like Wisher was going to be uncovered, and then he came to Alexander. Alexander had great coverage on the play.
What did Kelly tell us? That they were going to give up those underneath things, and there was going to be a lot of one-on-one kind of battles that they had to win. Kaiser swings it out. That looked like it was caught and then dropped by Josh Adams. It's incomplete. And that'll bring up the punting unit and Tyler Newsome.
It's a quick 3 and out. Even if this ball is caught, Virginia Tech in great shape to come up and make the play.
The little thing.
Reynolds coming in hard, so Josh Adams takes his eye off the ball. Even if he had caught it, Reynolds was right there to make the play. A quick 3 and out, turning over. Again, Virginia Tech, Notre Dame punting into the wind. Virginia Tech should get decent field position.
It's C.J. Carroll standing back at his 35-yard line. Newsome into the wind. Ball gets hung up and drops out of bounds across the 45-yard line or so. So once again, great field position for the Hokies, and with 8.5 left and after a 22-yard punt, they'll get it again. This is Dan Patrick with Football Latin America to kick things off at 7 Eastern Time, only on NBC. Well, Gerard Evans rising in the record books for Virginia Tech now. 31 total touchdowns in a single season by either through the air or on the ground, passing Logan Thomas. So just a part of what his sensational first season has been at Virginia Tech. Now he's looking for a win on the road against Notre Dame. He starts this drive off with Sam Rogers close to another first down as the Hokies begin with good field position.
Notre Dame went to a 5-man front to try to take away the run. So Evans throws the quick pass game to Rogers. He has an answer for everything right now.
He's going to run this one and pick up the first down easily. So Evans continues to chew up yardage. He is the team's leading rusher, that for a gain of 6.
So Sam Rogers just caught a slant route. Now he's a lead blocker on a quarterback running short yardage. And again, Evans is falling forward. It's very difficult from a defensive standpoint.
1st and 10, ball at the Irish 38. And Evans goes to the right side to Ford, and Ford's got another first down. Isaiah Ford finally run out of bounds by Niles Morgan.
So again, Notre Dame goes to a 5-man front to try to stop the run. Here's Ford outside. He comes one-on-one. Now it's a simple individual route. Run down, run a hitch, quick stop and turn. And it's a big 15 to 20-yard gain on a simple hitch route.
20-yard gain there. 7 catches, 86 yards on the day for Ford. He goes to the other side now to Cam Phillips, and you're beginning to see these 3 big targets come into big play. We saw Bucky Hodges with a touchdown catch, Cam Phillips, and Isaiah Ford. They call them the Big 3, and these guys are in the top 7 all time on Virginia Tech's receiving list.
And from the other side, you've got to worry about Evans running the ball. If you play a defense to stop the run, you're one-on-one with these athletic receivers with great quickness, and then Bucky Hodges down here close with the size, so you can throw fades, jump balls.
And they can batter you with
very explosive.
The big backs as well. And they fake it to Phillips, and there's Evans up the middle for not much. And that'll bring up 3rd down and long. We mentioned those 3 receivers and how electric they have been. Most career receptions, 1st, 4th, and then Hodges down there as well in the top 10. 3rd and 4. Evans has to run it, and he gets the first down. 1st and goal, Virginia Tech, with under 6 minutes to go and a chance to take the lead.
Sam Rogers came open late on the sideline on the flat route. He wanted the ball. Evans had already come off it. Didn't matter. Evans just a strong runner, makes people miss, puts his shoulder down, falls forward.
And here they go. It's Marshawn Williams down to the 5-yard line for a gain of almost 3. Isaac Rochelle on the stop for Notre Dame, as things have turned around for first-year Tech coach Justin Fuente. Down 17 points on 2 occasions in this game. And Brian Kelly doesn't want that nightmare of losses to continue that go down to the final possession, and he ends up on the short end. It just looks like we're going to have another tight one down to the wire again. Virginia Tech's Evans floating it. Looked like Hodges got a little confused in the route that at least Evans thought he was going to run.
Well, he had the option it was a run-pass option where maybe we're going to run the ball. We call running play. Instead, he decides to throw a fade to Hodges. Hodges is blocking downfield. Could have been an offensive pass interference call. But Hodges was not looking for the fade route.
3rd and goal at the 5.
Huge play for Notre Dame defensively. They're only going to get 1 offensive possession left. Virginia Tech probably this and maybe 1 more.
Evans is going to run. Designed run all the way. Notre Dame is going to stop him as he slithers underneath. And the ball gets loose.
Boy, he comes out of nowhere to dive forward to the 1-yard line. It looked like he stopped around the 3 or 4, but he doesn't quit. Very important to get the lead, so even though it's only a yard short, Virginia Tech will attempt the field goal.
There's the knee down before the ball comes out, so that'll bring up 4th and goal. And we will see Joey Sly, again, very accurate from this short distance. Is when you get him past 40, when it becomes a little iffy.
Shoot, he had a windy day in Pittsburgh and went 6 for 6.
But he's already hit on a short one today from 23. This from 20 yards, and Joey Sly with 4:16 left gives Virginia Tech its very first lead of the game. Brian Kelly has seen this movie before. 4:16 left to go in this one, Doug, and you can believe it's another one of these close games for Brian Kelly and the Irish.
It was a fast start for Notre Dame, and ever since, Virginia Tech just clawed their way back into it and has dominated the second half, and it's coming down to last possession games.
Joey Sly kicking over to C.J. Sanders. And Sanders reversing his field, cutting it back, and then finally brought down just short of the 30-yard line. So that is where Kaiser will begin this drive with 4:07 left, trailing by 3.
He has to find some easy completions. Brian Kelly told us there would be no easy completions today because of the way Virginia Tech plays pass coverage, that his guys, his offensive receivers, are going to go up and have to make a play on a ball in the air. And Kaiser has been struggling of late to find open guys. He's had to throw the ball away a number of times.
As you saw on the graphic, 4 3-and-outs, and 3 of them coming in this second half. And there's the lead, and Kaiser gives it off to Adams, and he has just plugged up Tim Settle. And that Virginia Tech defense just swarming.
There's just too many bodies here. Even if he pulls it, there's a man for the quarterback, so Kaiser has to give it. There's press coverage on the outside. Settle just makes the play in the backfield, tackle for loss. On first down, when you get press coverage, you have to be throwing the ball against that man-to-man coverage.
Loss of 3 on the play, 2nd and 13. So Kaiser has to go to the air, feeling pressure from his right side. He wants equanimity as St. Brown down the sideline, and it's incomplete. That was Adonis Alexander running with St. Brown.
Alexander right there, stride for stride, back to the ball. St. Brown had a shot at bringing that one in. And we were just talking about the ball. There are going to be some 50-50 balls up in the air where Kelly said his guys have to come up with the play.
St. Brown unable to hold on to it, and that brings up a 3rd and 13. Kaiser's got 3 out to the right. To the wide side. He looks left, and he's just honed in on the left side, and he's brought down by Ken Ekanum for the sack. And that is a guy that could not wait to get to South Bend for the first time in his life. He was set to come here while in high school. He's being recruited by Notre Dame. He injured his knee in the state championship game. He said that Notre Dame rescinded its scholarship offer. Brian Kelly has since said we don't do that, but Canham had something to play for in this game. And now the punt by Newsom against the wind into the hands of C.J. Carroll, who takes a fair catch at the 38 to set up more good field position by Virginia Tech. But Canham said Virginia Tech stuck with me after the knee injury. And in his words, he said Virginia Tech was a lot more interested in me as a student athlete than Notre Dame was as just a football player. So there was a little bit of back and forth going on there in the press, but Canham was definitely had his feelings hurt by the whole situation, and here he is in South Bend for the first time.
When people back off you in recruiting, whether it's taking a scholarship away or just backing off, there's a little chip on your shoulder. You want to show up and say, hey, you missed out on this. This is what I have.
Brian Kelly says we've never done that. He even cited Torrey Hunter and Josh Adams and others. So here is what Virginia Tech hopes is a big clock-eating drive here with 2:46 left as Notre Dame is forced to take a timeout here to try to buy some time. Trailing by 3.
Notre Dame did have all 3 timeouts. They can get the ball back with well over 2 minutes to go and no timeouts left. But 1 first down will take that clock way down under a minute, 30 seconds-ish. Just 1 first down for Virginia Tech consulted away. Notre Dame desperately wanting a stop. They're going to fill the box with bodies, get up there and stop the quarterback run. If Virginia Tech is willing to throw the football at any time, they'll have a great opportunity. And as Notre Dame defense, you're banking on they're not going to. They're going to run the football. We're going to put 9 guys up there and stop the run and try to get the ball back.
Kelly's team has not won back-to-back games all season, 4-6. A loss here could be the final blow for a chance at a bowl. And Virginia Tech now here with a 2nd down and 10. Trying to get that first down to salt this one away. And Evans slides in for the first down into Notre Dame territory, and it's getting closer and closer to reality that Justin Fuente's team will come back to win this game.
And Notre Dame still has 2 timeouts now because the first down was gained on only 2nd down. The potential to get the ball back with about a minute to go.
Bleeding all the clock off that they can. They'll give it to Rodgers.
The quarterback run game is just killer because even when you're committing to stopping the run, there's a hat on a hat, the ability.
So a timeout, the 2nd for Notre Dame, just 1 left as we look at Gerard Evans and some of his handiwork today.
Well, just zone read stuff. He's contained, crashed down, out on the corner. And he's deceivingly fast, too. He gets in the open field. But the rhythm passing game for him has been excellent. Ball out of the hand in a hurry. Here, putting it up for grabs to his big 6'7" receiver, Bucky Rodgers, on the goal line. He's got weapons. He's got quick receivers. He's got the tall receiver. And the ball's out of his hand. He's a lot of one-read things. When it's a complicated coverage, chances are Virginia Tech is running the football. He's had the ability to throw the ball all day with one-on-one matchups when he decides to throw, and he has the talented receiver, and he's been very accurate with the ball.
We've seen how Virginia Tech has flipped the time of possession in the 2nd half as well. So now on 2nd down and 6, they give it to Marshawn Williams. He just is the Energizer Bunny through there, just never stops churning. Still to bring up 3rd down. But a loss here would assure Notre Dame of its first losing season in 9 years. It would also assure Kelly's first losing season since he went 4-7 at Central Michigan 12 years ago.
Have to be alert for the quarterback run. Whether it's zone read type thing or a follow with lead blockers.
3rd and 3. Here's Evans. And he's close to the first down, but short of it. And Notre Dame, with one timeout, is going to take it to stop the clock at 1:13. So, you're Virginia Tech and Fuente here, Doug. 4th and less than a yard.
Are the odds better to get less than a yard, or are they better to punt it away and hang on for 1 minute with Notre Dame with no timeouts and pin deep going into the win? That's what you're debating here. I think Virginia Tech will go for it, or at least go out there and try to draw them offside. I'll tell you what, I would punt. I'd go out, personally, I would go out, try to draw them offside. If you don't get it, take a delay of game, back up and punt the ball. Because Notre Dame has done nothing lately offensively. They're going into the win. And if you as Virginia Tech make them go the length of the field.
There's the punter, Mitchell Ludwig,
absolutely,
who's coming on.
You have to make Notre Dame go the length of the field.
Without any timeouts.
Now, if Frank Beamer were still coaching, they'd fake it. No. Punt it away.
And so calling for a fair catch is Fink at the 10-yard line. So with 1:07 left and 90 yards away, although they just need a field goal here to tie things up.
But even a field goal, the range
That's
down the other end of the field, maybe 42, 43 yards is possible.
And that's even a tall order into this stiff breeze, which has been gusting well over 20 miles an hour. Justin Yoon's longest of the year is 40. He has a career-long 52, but that was in much different conditions last year with the game not on the line. So Kaiser in this Notre Dame offense needs to think at least getting it to that 25-yard line of Virginia Tech to have a chance at tying it up. No timeouts. Kaiser goes to work, and a pass over the middle is deflected, incomplete. 2nd down at 10.
Boy, the way Virginia Tech matches up in coverage, they do get tight coverage around the field, but boy, there's no safety in the middle of the field at times. And actually, Durham Smythe had one-on-one coverage and had an opportunity to go to. He was covered. But if you get a one-on-one matchup going up the field with no help over top, you got to take a shot at it.
Kaiser keeps it and picks up the first down. That'll stop the clock momentarily, but they'll spot it and crank it up with 53 seconds left.
That is key. Anytime you get tackled in bounds, you have to have made a first down.
Nothing going left, and Kaiser's just going to throw this one away. Stops the clock. And the Doug Flutie school of
2-minute
drills, that's a good thing.
Incompletions are okay for a while, but in this situation with no timeouts in 40 seconds, the clock is there's not a lot of time.
And they've got a long way to go. They're still only at their own 21-yard line. No timeouts.
If he can keep hanging on the ball, eventually someone may open up deep in the middle of the field.
Sooner or later, he's going to need a big gainer here. Kaiser waits and fires, and that pass is complete to St. Brown. And he gets out of bounds, stops the clock with 35 seconds left and a gain of 20. Notre Dame right up to work at the line. What a catch by St. Brown, able to cradle it in. So the ball now just across the 40, and Kaiser downs it.
Exactly what I was talking about on the last play. As he holds on the ball, moves around, all this matching up coverage, all of a sudden C.J. Sanders was running down the middle of the field all by himself for Notre Dame.
Illegal substitution, defense, too many players lining up in formation. 5-yard penalty. The down counts.
Why would the down count if there were too many people on the field? Oh, it's substitution?
And so the ball moved up 5 to the 46. So Kaiser looking for Adams, and he is spun around incomplete.
Boy, Reynolds coming off the edge, put the pressure on Kaiser. Bud Foster dialing up a blitz and says, "The heck with this, we're not going to let you hang on to the ball anymore." Great job by Kaiser, drifting away from it and trying to get the ball down the field. Like we've said before, incompletions aren't all that bad sometimes.
29 seconds left. Notre Dame needs a field goal to tie it up. They need to get deep into Hokie territory for Justin Yoon. Kaiser trying to put him there and not even turned around with Stepperson. 3rd and 5.
The longer Kaiser can hang on to the football, the more opportunity for people to work down the field into windows and to come free. The Hokies they're guarding the sideline right now, and they're guarding deep.
Kaiser hanging in the pocket and delivers it complete. No, it's dropped by Adams again. And that brings up 4th down and 5. Right in the numbers.
And he would have been able to get out of bounds across midfield.
Maybe he was thinking about that.
Still 20 yards away from field goal range if he had caught that. They're probably 25 yards to 30 yards from having an opportunity.
And the Hokies are a stop from winning the first ever game between Virginia Tech and Notre Dame. And it looked like the Irish were going to run away with it early, taking a 17-0 lead. Hokies came back. Irish came back, took another 17-point lead. And then Virginia Tech, with a field goal by Sly, a couple of field goals in this 4th quarter, finally took the lead at 34-31, their first lead of the game. And Gerard Evans and company.
He just kept plugging, didn't he? I mean, running the football, the short passing game, the goal line, the touch up and over to Hodges, just kept fighting. And in the 4th quarter, with the wind at their back, eventually they overtook Notre Dame.
So if the Hokies win this game, it'll be impressive indeed. It was called kind of one of those games where was the real drive going to come from Virginia Tech, because it's not going to have anything to do with deciding the ACC Coastal Division title. That'll come next week against Virginia. They win that game and they'll sew that up. But here on the road against Notre Dame, just this stop away from putting it away. Kaiser, he's going to run for the first down, takes another hit and stops the clock, and he did take another hit. Took one earlier in the game that Kelly thought was targeting, and now that was a vicious hit as well, and he is very slow in getting off the turf.
Is there a situation here with a 10-second runoff since they had to stop the clock? Delivered a shot now. If they can review that as targeting a hit on the head again. The forearm was straight at the helmet.
Was that the shoulder, it looked like, of Terrell Edmonds in on Kaiser's helmet?
I mean, to me, that's still a deliberate shot to the head.
So Malik Zaire is in with 13 seconds left. Another one of these situations that Zaire has been thrown into. Not easy when you haven't been playing regularly at all. He did get some action in the Army game last week, but here we go. Zaire. Game clock expires, and that is the end of the game.
There's a flag.
There is a flag on the field. It was just after St. Brown made the reception.
Illegal touching on the offense, number 6. One out of bounds, was the first to touch it. Penalty is declined. Ball game.
Ball game indeed, and Justin Fuente in his first trip to South Bend picks up a win in comeback fashion over Notre Dame. 34-31. As Notre Dame has its first losing season in 9 years, and Kelly's first at the helm in his 7th season at Notre Dame. And pretty much puts the bowl bid down the drain as well, as a tough season gets even tougher for Brian Kelly. Let's go down to Catherine.
All right, Dan, thank you. Coach, you talked about the significance of this victory between these two teams. Virginia Tech comes out on top, but down 24-7. What cued the comeback for you guys?
Well, I think the biggest thing is we just calmed down and started playing. Obviously Notre Dame has good players, and we just can't help them out. And we helped them out a little bit there to start the game off. And everybody settled down and started playing and made some plays.
Your quarterback started playing as well, a bloody throwing hand on his right hand. What can you say about the performance that Gerard Evans had today?
He did a good job. He was a little shaky to start with, but did a much better job taking care of the football and made some plays. Can you hear the Hokie Nation out there?
We can.
It's a pretty special place, Virginia Tech. And I'm really proud of the way the entire team played.
Coach, I appreciate your time. Congratulations on the win.
You bet. Thank you.
Dan.
All right, thank you, Catherine. A familiar refrain for Notre Dame as the alma mater plays in their corner of the end zone. 7th loss for Notre Dame. All 7 have been within 8 points or less and decided on a final possession. For Brian Kelly's full press conference, go to NBCSports.com. And then tonight at 8/7 Central, it's the NBC Movie of the Week Freebirds. And later tonight, all new Saturday Night Live with host Kristen Wiig and musical guest The Excess. Tomorrow night, Sunday night is football night. It's the Packers and the Redskins. It's been a pleasure bringing you another season of Notre Dame football for our entire NBC crew. Dan Hicks saying thanks for watching. So long from South Bend. Senior Day ends up a losing proposition.